The fight over where power presides in Frankfort is now inside a Franklin County courtroom. Governor Beshear has filed a lawsuit challenging House Bill 10 passed during the last session. The new law gives the Attorney General and State Treasurer oversight of some actions of a governor, both before an inauguration and when a new term starts. It also gives the Senate the power to confirm a governor's cabinet secretary appointments. Attorneys for Governor Beshear claim the new law, quote, violates the bedrock separation of powers, end quote, in the Constitution. All right, we're going to open up this time for you, Senator. Let you go first.
Thank you.
This point keeps being litigated, both literally and figuratively, and as a Harvard-educated attorney, I know that you are. Does Beshear have any standing?
Absolutely has standing. You know, Abby, ever since Governor Beshear came into office back in 2019, this legislature has repeatedly, like I said, you're smiling, year after year after year, tried to tear away some of his powers and authority, okay? All along, while he has built the greatest economy Kentucky has ever seen in terms of private investment, over $50 billion, in terms of job production, over the $70,000, dealing with significant tragedies we've seen, tornadoes in western Kentucky, floods in eastern Kentucky. He's moved Kentucky along that's got national attention for and acclaim for what he has done. So what they want to do now is say that we're going to give the Attorney General oversight over some of his powers, Treasurer over others. We want to confirm his appointments. Where is this coming from? I mean, it's all about trying to tear away, again, at what Governor Beshear has the role as the chief executive. Let me repeat, Abby, he is the chief executive of the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
All right, well, Senator, Ms. Bledsoe, you're certainly no stranger to the separation of powers argument. Does Beshear have a chance to prevail in court?
Well, I'm not an attorney and I'm not on the Supreme Court, so I guess we'll have to wait and see how some of that plays out. But I do think the legislature passed the bill for a reason, and it has nothing to do with necessarily Governor Beshear. It has to do with any governor and how they transition of power. We've had a number of times where I think Governor Beshear might have been beneficial if Governor Bevin had some of those things in place before he came on. And again, checks and balances is not a usurp of power. It is simply an accountability. And I think as people have elected all of us to represent in Frankfort, part of our responsibility is to make sure there is checks and balances.
Would you say the same thing if this law were in place during the administration of former Governor Bevin?
It was not in place during the administration of Governor Bevin. And ask yourself, why wasn't it taken up then by a Republican-controlled legislature? The answer is because he had a Republican governor.
Amanda? 6 months may seem like a long time to the average Kentuckian in terms of a 4-year administration, but it's really only 12.5% of the total time in office. Why did lawmakers choose 6 months in this bill?
I think because most contracts go on for several years, and so given 6 months allows a current governor not to tie the hands of the next governor or the next administration moving forward. So they do come in with a fresh slate.
Thoughts?
Again, there's been no need, again, to try to rip away powers from the governor. I mean, Governor Beshear has shown throughout his tenure that he's a man of high ethical principles and standards. He's done nothing to embarrass his state. I know and feel confident he won't do anything to embarrass his state. This is just another Republican power grab to try to do what it can to put strikes and roadblocks against them, Abby.
But let me push back on that, Senator, because the bill is really a procedural bill, so it really doesn't matter who's in power, right?
Abby, as you pointed out, they didn't do this when Bevin was governor, and there was a reason, because he was a Republican governor. There's been a long history over the course of his administration to try to take away this power and that power and other powers from the governor. And I think he's right to go to the Constitution and says, look, I'm elected as the chief executive of the state. I've got to manage the state. If things go wrong, I'm the one who's most accountable here, and I think I should have the authority to choose whoever I wanted to choose and to exact my oversight as the chief executive.
Senator, final words, 10 seconds.
I think it's all within his purview to challenge that in court, and I think it's within our purview, the General Assembly, to hold him accountable.
That's all the time we have for that discussion, but we still have more ahead this morning.